We are walking from Sydney Grove in Islington, North London, and one thing you notice immediately is that Islington has a very different charm compared to other parts of the city. There's a balance between old London charm and modern urban life. The streets are residential and calm in some sections, but there is always movement nearby. Cafes, buses, shops, cyclists, and people heading somewhere. As we begin walking uphill towards Sainsbury, the incline itself shows how surprisingly uneven London's geography can be. A lot of people imagine the city as completely flat, but areas across North London actually rise gradually, and Islington is one of those places where you feel the elevation while walking. It's subtle, but enough to change your perspective about streets around you. The architecture here is classic North London. Rows of Victorian and Georgian terraced houses, brick facades, painted doors, and narrow pavements lined with parked cars. Many of these homes were built during the 19th century when London expanded rapidly during the Industrial Revolution. What is fascinating is how these historic buildings continue to shape the identity of city today. Even when new apartments or businesses appear, the old character of the neighbourhood remains. Walking uphill we pass German Doner Kebab, which has become one of the most recognizable food chains in Britain over the last few years. What is interesting about it is how it represents London's multicultural food culture. Kebabs themselves trace their origins to West Asian and Turkish culinary traditions. But in cities like London, they have evolved into something deeply integrated into everyday British life. German Doner Kebab markets itself differently from traditional takeaway kebab shops. The branding feels modern, international, and almost designed for a younger social media driven audience. But its popularity also reflects a much bigger story about London, a city where immigrant cuisines have transformed mainstream eating habits. Food that may once have been considered foreign are now completely normal parts of Britain's urban culture. As we continue, I can hear the familiar sounds of London all around me. Cars moving steadily through the roads, buses stop and start every few minutes, and snippets of conversation drift through the air from people walking past. One thing about London is that even its quietest streets rarely feel completely still. There's always a background energy to the city. The further up we go, the more the streets begin to open slightly, and we get glimpses of how layered London feels architecturally. Old terraced homes stand beside newer apartment developments, independent shops sit next to chain stores, and historic pubs coexist with modern cafes and supermarkets. Islington especially has gone through major changes over the decades. Once considered a more working class part of London, it became increasingly gentrified from the late 20th century onward, attracting professionals and businesses while still retaining traces of its older identity. Walking through areas like this, you can almost read London's social history through the buildings and storefronts. The city is constantly changing, but it never fully erases what came before. That's part of what makes London feel layered compared to many newer cities around the world. The weather today feels very London as well, slightly cool, maybe overcast, but comfortable for walking. And honestly, this kind of weather suits the city visually. The brick buildings, the greenery along the streets, and red buses. Everything summer feels more cinematic under grey skies. As we approach Sainsbury, the pace becomes busier. Supermarkets in Britain are more than just grocery stores. They're part of daily urban rhythm. People stop in for meal deals, quick groceries, coffee, or essentials on the way home from work. Sainsbury's one of the UK's largest supermarket chains, is woven in everyday British life in a way visitors often do not fully realize. And what I always find interesting about London's